Hello everybody, this is the first video in our series of videos explaining to you exactly what Ark Zen is all about. This is just an overview, and what we're going to do here is go through the principles of what exactly Ark Zen is. We're just going to go through the actual text that we've got here at the moment, and then the next video will take you through an example of navigate around the system, and then in the third video we'll show you how the capture system works. So we'll break it up like that and we'll do it like this. So let's start. Now, what is Ark Zen? Okay, in the first place, okay, Ark Zen is a complete reformulation, redesign of the accounting function. What we're trying to do is say, is there a better way to do accountancy? And our submission is that it's much better, that there are some fundamental weaknesses in the standard model, the standard design that everybody uses in accounting at the moment, and we can improve upon this dramatically. And that's what we're trying to do here. We use simply an Excel system, but you'll see the power of Excel as you go through the video. You'll see just how powerful this thing actually is. We can manipulate data, you know, as good as anybody, and you'll see exactly how it works now in the very near future. Okay, so we're saying that the standard design is fraught with all sorts of unnecessary complications and opaque views. The problem, if we go on now to what we call the key problem areas, okay, now these areas come from the journalization. The journals, they end up as like these journals. They can be composite journals. They're just random. There's a little description, but they don't really link back in any way. You can't drill down from the journals back into your data. And then what happens, the problem comes when you start having correcting journals, and then those correcting journals sometimes have more than one transaction, so they compound, and you now can't tie these things back. You can't see what's in here and what's in there. There's incredibly opaque between that situation. This is what we have to get around, because once we make it simple, then of course it all becomes so easy and so clear, and get that transparency that we're looking for. Now, the way in which we do this is we create what we call a unified database. So within a normal accounting system, things like banking and invoicing, for example, will be in the system. But then there are other systems. There can be systems like payroll and fixed assets that are outside, different vendors, different applications that are being used. And that's fine. You can still use them. But what we do, instead of just journalizing their contents into the general ledger, what we actually do is import the entire set of transactions and then recreate the journals, or recreate the journals here. But it's very, very quick, and you'll see the incredible benefits of doing it this way, because now we have this unified database in which we can do everything. We don't have to go back there. We can drill down to everything, providing you authorize. I mean, for example, you know, the payroll, we're very limited. Most people won't have access to the payroll, or you might just get some sort of little summary. But if you've got the authorization, then you can drill right down into the payroll and see exactly what's going on. But this is the point. Because we have a unified system, we can drill down and interrogate every single item that actually is available. Every single item that impacts the annual statements is available for interrogation. Now, the next thing I want to bring you on to is what we call macro journals. This is a new way of thinking about journals. Instead of journals simply being this hodgepodge of just great big stew of journals, thousands of journals going through. In the little example we show on Dunkirk, the little system, it's only got about 8,000 records, but it ends up with over 2,000 journals. And you know, it's difficult to actually get a handle on these things. Now, what we do is we create a new concept of a journal, an Ark journal, which is based on the column of a particular data population. Now, let's give an example of additions to fixed assets. If we take additions to fixed assets, you take that column coming in, which is where we're going to capitalize the amount. If you look at that for the whole year, and there might be, say, you had 500,000 rands worth of additions, that will be lined up in, say, 300 assets that were bought over the course of the year. That becomes one journal. Now, obviously, that journal it's not static, it grows. During the course of the year, that journal will grow, and we do that by batches. Each time you add some more items, you run the system, and it creates a batch number, and you sign that one off, go on to the next one, and you do a batch number. So that macro journal continues to grow and show you exactly how the whole thing goes. But when you look at it at the end of the year, you've got one entry which is going to be debit fixed assets and credit creditor. Okay, so you can actually see exactly what's going on there, and you'll see the incredible advantage of having these macro journals, much better than the way we do journalization in the standard system. This brings us to our next line, which is perfect harmony. Okay, and what we're saying here is, by definition, these things are all in balance. You never have a reconciliation. There is nothing to reconcile. Everything ties back to everything else. In the video, the next video, where we show you exactly how everything fits together, you will see this perfect harmony actually in action. Okay, we've already mentioned our ability to do total interrogation, multi-dimensional total interrogation. You'll see how it works. It's beautiful. You drill down, you can see everything that's going on, and once you get used to it, you'll wonder how you ever did it beforehand. Let's go back to what we call instant outputs. All of the outputs are instant. We actually run everything in RAM. We just pull it out of the database and then run everything in RAM, and it makes the actual outputs virtually instantaneous. Few of them might take 2 or 3 seconds, but many of them are almost, they're so quick you don't even notice that processing is actually taking place. So that is incredibly. It means that the moment you enter, the moment you submit some information into the system, the journalization is done, the coding is done, it's all there, and the matrix is updated. You can immediately go to any of your outputs, and the impact of that import will be available. Now let's just talk about a system we have called Dunkirk. Dunkirk is our ability to go from a previous system using their general ledger report. So we take their general ledger, put it into an Excel file. You can have other things like debtors and creditors, and we take that information and then run it through Dunkirk, and you can strip it. There's a little bit of setup work to be done, which might take you 20 minutes. But once you've done the setup work, then all you have to do is click the button. The actual run only takes 10 seconds, but then you've got to go and have a look at it and just see that you're happy, see that everything's come through. So, but in around about 10 to 15 minutes, you can be happy that your entire system has been imported into the Ark Zen structure, and you can get all the benefits and see how that's working, see how the journals work. Now, we want to mention due diligence. Okay, Dunkirk is so powerful that it can not only can it be used to initialize the system, it can also be used for due diligence work and also and auditors, and we can also use it for loading the consolidation, because you can simply run this and load this into the cloud, and then it's available for consolidation. So very, very powerful, and particularly from the point of view of head office, in that it gives you the ability to drill down, interrogate, and see exactly what's going on. And because everybody comes up with the same structure and the same sort of journals, it makes the consolidation very simple. Okay, so now I just want to introduce the concept of mini app. What we have is we have a series of mini apps. So, for example, banking and invoicing, even things like the income statement, balance sheet, they're all little mini apps. And what they do, they pull the information out, and then they run in RAM, and then they produce their results. Okay, and they're incredibly powerful. Again, many of it almost instantaneous, and very, very powerful in terms of the way it actually works. And these ones, you can expand this. This is, you can add mini apps, you can customize it, add extra mini apps. They're very, very simple and very powerful. Okay, the next thing I want to go on to is analytical review. Okay, because we have all the information, you can do a built-in analytical review, and you can see exactly how all your numbers fit together, and the ratios and relationships between the different variables. And this takes us on to business intelligence. We have a beautiful business intelligence system called Delta now, which is a separate system, but we will be incorporating charts and things like that into our executive packs, so that you can actually see the benefit of that business intelligence inside Phoebe. Okay, so now we're going to go on to here. This is what we have, one called an executive pack. You can have associates, people like auditors, non-executive directors, consultants that you authorize. They sign up and they have a status within the system of being associates. It's free of charge. And but what they do, they can't see the system, but they can see packs. You have the ability to generate a pack which is a subset of what's in the system. So you can create, for example, an executive pack or an audit pack that you want to do, an analyst pack, anything like this. You can create these packs, and then you can authorize some of these associates to look at one or more of the different packs. So you might have a non-executive director in New Zealand, for example, and they can simply tap into this. They can see, and that pack is like the Phoebe system itself. It's got drill down capability, so they can drill down. It's not a static thing where it's just one page. They can drill and zoom and ask questions and look at the whole thing, and they've got some business intelligence that can come through. So we've got a lovely executive pack, and you can generate these packs for yourself. Okay, and then we come down. We just want to mention forensic implications, because of the fact that the design is so clear and so simple. It becomes much harder to put through fraudulent entries and to hide. You need the cover of darkness to get away with some of the stuff that people are doing. So you can detect fraud very, very easily, and that's a tremendous benefit from the system. And finally, for this video, we want to mention our consolidations. Because the consolidations come together like this, as the users are completing their packs, they can fire it off into the consolidation database with a separate consolidation database, and then that becomes available. You would see on a separate view as the different subsidiaries come through, count and see who's in, who's out. And once you get to that point, and you've all collected, you run the consolidation, and it's virtually instantaneous, even for a 100-member consolidation. And we'll be showing you that very shortly. Thanks very much.